Well, good morning, everyone. Let me see, make sure my volume is up here. No, it's not. All right, there we go. All right, well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 30th day of October, 2019. Well, I have the pumpkin going. This was one of our volunteer pumpkins. You know, we don't always clean out the garden at the end of the year. I kind of like to leave stuff for the critters for over the winter, and so I don't usually do that. Plus, you get the extra added advantage of volunteers in the summer, or in the spring. Well, not really the spring here because we're at 3,000 feet above sea level, so spring is dicey around here. We don't get to put things out unless, it's lettuce or something like that. We don't get to put anything out. You can't put tomatoes out or beans or anything. You can't do any of that until at least the end of May, if not the 1st of June around here. So spring doesn't mean the same thing where we live as it does, in the lower elevations. So, but in any event, this was a volunteer pumpkin and it's just perfect. The stem is really witchy and cool, and it just sort of curves around the back, and it looks really neat. And in fact, I'll show you. It does this. It's just very cool. And anyway, I did a Merkaba for the top, and so that's kind of cool. You can kind of see when you stand above it, you can see the light coming out of it there. So it looks pretty cool. And I have stars for ears. And then I did a maiden, mother, and crone triple aspect on the moon for the eyes and the nose. And then I did the elemental glyphs for the pumpkin's teeth. So anyhow, my husband said, "Here, come draw what you want and I'll cut it up." And so I did, and he did, and that was the result. So I thought it turned out pretty good. So getting ready for Halloween and Samhain, depending on how you want to pronounce it, how you want to think of it. If you're about candy, then, it's one thing, and dressing up and having fun like that, that's one thing. But if you're, thinking about it from the pagan or witch perspective, then you're thinking about it in terms of your ancestors that have passed over and the veil thinning and being able to communicate with them. So in any event, it can be, a time for spirituality. We're moving into the winter now. It's kind of like, in a way, it's the new year. Depending on your perspective, the new year is beginning for us. So not in January, but today, or not today, but November 1st, really, I suppose, if you want to get technical. But anyway, the sun's in the 12th house in Scorpio, so passionate and intense experiences today. So avoid drama and deceptive behavior. But, I tend to be a little negative about Scorpio, probably because of the intensity of them. But in truth, they're very warm and generous people. They just are very... they have trouble reconciling how deep they feel with maybe what it is they're supposed to do about that. I don't know, so sometimes there's some struggle there, inner struggle for them, but still opposing Uranus. So, unconventional ideas are sort of in the mix again today. The moon's in Sagittarius though, and the first house, there's a bunch of stuff in the first house. So it's a day for new experiences and adventure. Also, we have also a focus on health and self-improvement. Because of the first house presence, we also have Jupiter in the first house. And so, again, expansive generosity, a lot of, humor, generous nature. Mercury also in Scorpio. So and the first house, intense communication. But here's where the self-improvement aspect is also reinforced. Seems like there's another one. Venus also in the first house. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all I have in that. I wonder if there's anything more in the first house I can talk about. I don't think so. So Mercury and Venus are also in the first house along with Jupiter. So also about Mercury, we're going to go into retrograde tomorrow. So, and that'll last until the 20th of November. So, what we have today, what do I have written there? Oh, it looks like I have something else there too that shouldn't be there. I didn't erase enough. But Mercury's also, let's see. No, that's Venus. Venus allows communication to flow. Oh, I see. It's conjunct the ascendant. That's where that is. So you're going to, here's the thing about that. Sometimes Scorpios are intentionally charming. So it can be a little bit manipulative, like they want something, so they're going to be a little charming to get it. So you want to kind of allow the charm to work for you with Venus, but you don't want to be manipulative. So that would be the only caution there. Also, it's also conjunct Mercury, or Venus is also conjunct the ascendant. Oh, I see why I can't see what I wrote there. It's because I took the bold off of Venus and I didn't, oh no. I'm not sure what I wrote there. Mercury's conjunct ascendant. No, it still is. It still is. It still is. I'm still in the Mercury section here. So I guess I did separate it out. It's weird though how I wrote that. But anyway, it's conjunct the ascendant. The ascendant's in Scorpio right this moment, and so again, you're talking the secretive nature with Scorpio, but that to me indicates you might want to manipulate using charm. I hate that, by the way. It just, well, anyway, I'll get to that. But Venus is also in the first house, and so it's a focus on appearance, maybe. So you may be improving your appearance. So maybe getting going to the hairdresser, maybe, or maybe doing something mind, body, spirit related. Maybe if you have a yoga class you can go to, or something, that just focuses on keeping your energy harmonious and flowing, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here, even though I didn't do my notes very well. Mars is still in Libra in the 11th house. So again, watch your tone in relationships. Again, maybe you don't want to force yourself on other people. You're a leader, that's true, but not everybody appreciates that. Mars is still squaring Saturn, so again, be aware of that. Let's see, I guess that's probably it. Since I can't really read my notes very well, I won't go on. It's still Saturn in the second house, I see that. So, you might want to take stock of, the more important areas, the foundational areas of your life, like money, and, we're about ready to have to pay bills again on the 1st. So maybe you take a look and make sure you paid everything, so you're not that late or whatever. Sometimes things get away from you. And also intercepted signs right now, Cancer and Capricorn again. So maybe you get stuck in the planning stages and not ever move out of them. So anyway, I think that's about it that I have down here. I have this massive separation between the rest of it, so that must be the ending of it. Usually I draw a line, and I didn't do that, so I don't know. At least I'm getting going earlier today than I did yesterday, and then I forgot to post it. I think I posted the video around 3:30 or some ridiculous time. I got busy, and I walked away, and I didn't pay attention, and I started working with my herbs, and there you went. It was all gone. I had no idea. I don't know what happened beyond that. So anyhow, let's go ahead and get started and take our first 3 cards. Well, I can't work with my cards well today. My hands aren't working yet. Well, we have the 10 of Swords we're going to start out with. So we've gone as far as we can go. When I see that one, it's like, oh, geez, enough. It's like now I can go on, and there I dropped a card. Now I can go on and with what I'm going to do, and I don't have to think about anything anymore. It's just been too much, and now it's just over. It's just A new day is dawning for me. It'll be one where my hands work in the morning. Here we have the Six of Swords. So a journey, change in direction. It's kind of interesting. So far we've got a 7 energy, so balance. Let's do the last card. It's getting cold on the high desert. I think that it's supposed to get a little bit warmer, but last night it was so cold. I think it was down to 9. I haven't looked, though, to be sure, but I think it got down to 9 degrees, and last night it was so cold. And here we have the 8 of Wands. I think, though, I'm going to put that one first. In fact, let's just do that. Let's just get that out of the way right now. So, here we have the 8 of Wands. Now, 8 is about strength. It's about leadership. It's about, but as you see with, say you go from the 6 is about higher self-energy. It's about shared purpose. You start to see the 4 is about foundation and getting your own house in order, basically. Just sort of, I know sometimes it's about respite, but it's about bringing everything to a resting point, basically. And creating structure in your life, but then you start to expand that awareness to other people with the 6, and then when you get to the 8, that's really more higher self informed, hopefully, unless it's not working right. But it's more higher self. You're really being able to understand the greater picture, and it's not just about you. And so here you have a lot of will coming in. Most of it's in balance. You have that one lagger there, though, that's sort of lagging back. But basically, you have a lot of things happening, a lot of movement, a lot of action here, lots of things happening. It could have simply to do with you, but it could also have to do with you in the greater, with respect to others as well. Let me look here really quickly, though. Wands is the fire element. So again, it's about our will and a sudden advancement, protection, synchronicity. And the attunement, and that's what I was looking for, the attunement to the natural flow of things. When things start progressing, sometimes they really start falling into place, don't they? So, theoretically, this could either be the first card or, okay, why did that come up? Or we could begin with the 10. But it feels like something is going on here. Let me bring that back up. It feels like something is going on here with the 8, a lot coming in at us, a lot happening. And then we have the 10 of Swords, which is darkest before the dawn, basically. We've gone as far as we can go here. You can see the sun is starting to rise on the scene, but it's not visible yet. You just see the light, so the light's returning. You see the guy dead on the sand there, on the shore there by the water's edge. You see a big expanse of water between him, and his challenges now are over. The mountains in the background signify challenge. And so that's over with now. The challenges are over. Whatever. So either we're going to begin anew, and this is representative of that, or these are the challenges maybe that have happened. Intellectually, this is the Swords is about is the air element, as you're talking our intellect or reason. But basically, what you're talking about there, it's almost like the culmination of everything that was happening here in the 8 is just, a lot of things have happened. This doesn't have to be a negative card, other than the fact that it's the end of illusion. So that's why I think we're going to start with the 8. I think that we've had a lot of activity, a lot of awakening here. This can also mean awakening. A lot of things coming in on us. I would feel better if it were Swords, because then you're really talking about facts. But sometimes, when the intention is, because this could also be synchronized intention. but it's activity that's bringing you to awareness and the end of illusion and the beginning of something else. And what we have here is a new direction, and we're going forward together. We see there's a snowy scene in the background. So, we're really at the precipice of something new. Snow is purifying, it's cleansing. It's also cold. But if I grew up in Alaska, and so I had my fill of snow, right? And there's nothing like going outside after it snowed. It's quiet, it's peaceful, it's clean, it's brilliant, it's pure, it's fresh. It's just the most amazing thing to walk out and see everything covered in snow. And up there, I mean, it's encompassing, maybe not so much as you see now, because there's a lot of climate change going on up there. But when I was in there, I lived there during the 60s. In fact, I was there during the earthquake, the big 9.2 earthquake in 64. And we moved to Oregon I think it was the beginning of September, just before school started in 1968. And so, but until then, I was born in California, and I moved up to Alaska when I was still 4. And it was in the summer. My birthday's in October. And so I lived up there about 6.5 years or 6 years or something like that before we moved here to Oregon. But to go out like that into the snow it was pristine. And it was something that was just new. Everything's made new by snow, because you go out there, nothing looks the same. So tremendous change can happen overnight. And it feels like, there's almost an overnight nature of this. A lot came in, things got dynamic, the end of illusion happened, and now we're headed in another direction. And it might not be easy. You can interpret the Six as the Six of Swords as a journey over water. And so, in a sense, if you're talking about that way, in a more symbolic way, it's not a journey over water. It's a journey to balance reason or intellect with emotion, basically. But we're going forward in a new direction together, based on the end of illusion and based on all of this synchronized, will. Again, whether this is talking about what's happening collectively or whether it's talking about something that's happening in your personal life, there's a sense of momentum here where some major change is going to happen. And what did we see here on this? There was something here about some kind of change that could be happening today. And I don't know where I put it. Oh, there we go. Having to do with Mercury in the ascendant, or conjunct the ascendant. That's what it was. And remember, the ascendant's in Scorpio. Yeah, that there may be a major transition that occurs today. You could receive positive news, which is kind of cool since retrograde begins tomorrow. But let's look at a rune and see. I don't think we need a 4th card here today. But let's look at the rune. That was interesting. That we're going to align a little bit with what's going on astrologically here with the reading. So yeah, so there's a major transition occurring today. Now, if we're looking upon it collectively, apparently tomorrow they're going to vote in the House on the impeachment thing, not to impeach, but just to formalize the rules, basically, of how this is going to go forward, and to turn it into a public thing instead of, simply interviews and depositions behind closed doors. They have enough now to where it's okay, let's have these people come back and do this again in front of people. So it's not that they were ever being secretive like the Republicans want to say is happening. That's just not true. It's disingenuous because they know they don't have any truth to counteract what these witnesses are saying. So, it's all over. It's really just stick a fork in him time. He's done. Okay, that's where we're at. Now, the rest of this is just a formality, all right? And we're going to see just what level of integrity is left in the government, I guess. I don't know. But But it was interesting because what that man did yesterday, the lieutenant colonel, was so profound. And they immediately began attacking him for being a traitor and, divided loyalties and all this other crap, right? Well, I said yesterday this would happen. I said this. But basically we saw, at the end of the day what happened after his 10 hours of testimony. So eventually he's going to do that sooner than later in front of all of us, and we're going to get to hear what he says personally. So I would encourage everybody when that happens to go ahead and be riveted, like I will be. It's like, oh wow, where you're really finding out just exactly what happened, and everyone else, all these career professionals that are actually professionals that know what they're doing, right? That have the country's best interest at heart, right? So you're getting to see all of that play out. Well, if we're smart about it, we will extrapolate what we can from that and apply it to our personal lives and see how maybe we can interact better with people and maybe come together without judgment and realize that when we look at someone else, we're really seeing the other side of self instead of the enemy or the other, right? And so, of course, Hagalaz is the rune for today. A Norn rune. There are 3 Hagalaz, Nathis, and Isa. It's the 9th rune of the Elder Futhar, so a sense of completion, aligning well with the 10, basically. Maybe we could put it between the 8. Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? To put it to actually set it between the 8 of Wands and the 10. So you have 8, 9, 10 numerologically here. You could have a little pattern there. But basically, what Hagalaz is the witch rune, is destruction in preparation for change. But it's done within a fixed framework. Think about casting spells. When a witch casts a spell, we're doing it within a fixed framework. And the fixed framework is our boundaries that we set for the spell. We only want it to only do a certain thing, right? And so there's a boundary we set when we set the whole thing up. And when we cast it, the intention is for a focused thing to happen, right? Or to influence something in a specific way. So it's like a container type of a feeling to it. But what you have here is something about our lives is shifting. But it's shifting in a positive way. So whatever illusion we were living under, it's no more. We can't ignore the truth any longer. And it's going to propel us in a direction that's going to be in better harmony between intellect and emotions. So reason and emotions is going to maybe come a little bit better in alignment so that we can make better decisions, so that emotions are not influencing too much, and we're not, and we're not, or maybe if reason is too much, it's like we're so focused on that one little thing, we can't see the bigger picture, right? And emotion provides that. It's like that feeling of, oh, well, wait a minute. Have we thought about this? It's that feeling of just sort of hesitance just enough, that we can be absolutely sure about what we're doing. So that's interesting, isn't it? I can't wait to see what the geomancy rune says. Let's see really quick here. So we have a single dot. I need to put batteries in this thing. A single dot for, well, okay. Absolutely. New direction, new path. We have Vaya today. Let me draw this out for you. We have Vaya and Populus. There's basically 8 geomantic runes, all right? But you get their complement or their opposite, and you're looking at 16. And so Vaya and Populus. Vaya is new direction. It's an active principle. That's what we have today. Populus would be 2 dots all the way down, and that would be going with the flow or the crowd. So that could be good too, but the fact is that because we have the 8 and because we have Hagalaz, we're talking about intentional change here, and so much synchronicity that we don't have a choice but to tear down the old and create the new. So here we have the end of illusion, and we're beginning anew. But this time going forward in shared purpose together, because the 6 is about shared purpose, and it's about higher self informing that process. So very cool. And I mean, and we have a Norn rune as well, Hagalaz. So, you know, I really think that we're emerging out of a process that began last year. It was an 11-year. We talked about this yesterday. We had an 11-year, and so that's the master number for illumination. We had an 11-day yesterday, so we talked a lot about that. And basically what we have now is we have a 3-year this year, okay? And it's about manifesting and bringing all of it together, what we've learned the year before, all that was presented, and then it's continuing to come out, of course, but we're bringing it all together into some cohesive fashion, and we're going to manifest something here, right? Hopefully some truth, and we can come to some decision about what we're going to do. Now, whether that's collectively what's happening in our government or whether that's happening on the home front, you can feel that sort of momentum, right? And so next year, we're going to have in 2020, we could say we have a 4-year, a change in structure, which we could say that, but it's better, I think, to leave it at 22, the master number, the cosmic builder number. And that's the most powerful number we have. So next year, all that we're doing this year to prepare is going to manifest next year. And since it's a powerful number of spirit manifestation, then with any luck, spirit's going to inform that whole process and guide our future and take us in a better direction, one that is of shared purpose, one that where we see that we're part of the collective aspect of self and that we couldn't be separate or divided even if we tried, even though we're trying very hard right now, right, to be divided from one another, to see the differences, to see everyone as the enemy instead of as a brother or a sister or as the other side of self. So what we're seeing here is another reading today that's taking us in a better direction, one of shared purpose. But it's acknowledging that there's some structure here, this underlying foundation that needs to change for that to happen. Otherwise, it's not going to. Otherwise, we stay in the conflict, basically, and in the illusion of what's been happening, right? But the momentum of truth is there now, and it's not going to be denied. So if this is just purely happening in your personal life, this just portends something wonderful that's about to happen, and you have to let it happen. You have to allow for the end of illusion. You have to allow for synchronicities to take hold. You have to allow for new thinking, you know, a new perspective, one that maybe you're not accustomed to, or maybe you haven't been accustomed to for a while, but it's almost like a return home. It's like, again, it's like walking out into the snow and seeing something completely different than was there the night before, you know, going out in the morning after, you know, a foot of snow has fallen. It's like even 6 inches is enough to make a difference. But it's the cleansing purity of all of that freezes the old into its place, puts it back where you no longer see it. So you never see, you know, what you didn't pick up the night before because the snow covers it. And maybe that's what we need now. Maybe we just need a little snow cover to make us forget what was. And we can see now the beauty of what really is. So anyhow, I guess that'll do it for today. I think, again, you know, sense the momentum of change that's in the air. Sense the positive momentum that's coming and allow it to take place. We need it. We all need it, whether it's in our personal lives or what's going on collectively around us. The chaos of what's happening in the government has drawn battle lines between people that just don't need to be there. And we're viewing people with suspicion when they're just our neighbors, you know? They're people we work with. It's just gotten too much. And I think that we're really starting to see where if we don't take the bull by the horns, Goddess will. So in any event, we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Halloween. Yay. It is my favorite holiday, I have to say. Always has been. I never take down my Halloween decorations. I never do. So, but then, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm always there. So anyhow, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Make use of this wonderful energy of building new things, and be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.